The Tata Sierra range starts at rupees 13.58 lakhs on-road Mumbai. And in that base variant, you get this engine, a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine which happens to be running the Atkinson cycle, which has been tuned for efficiency over performance. The output numbers are too embarrassing to share right now. And today, I am going to review it. But this car here is the top-end NA Petrol variant, the Accomplished, priced at rupees 20.96 lakhs on-road Mumbai. The NA Petrol engine is available in 9 variants, 6 for the manual and 3 for the automatic. And the NA Petrol automatic isn't available in high variants because those variants are limited to the turbo petrol engine. It's all quite confusing and nothing less than rocket science. Anyways, this is the top variant of the NA Petrol, which happens to be the Accomplished variant, not the Accomplished Plus, and thus misses out on certain kit like no welcome and goodbye animations for the headlights and tail lights, no bi LED booster headlamps, no dynamic swipe indicators, no rear fog lamps, no air purifier, no AQI display, no power tailgate and thus obviously no gesture tailgate, no memory function for the driver's seat, no welcome driver's seat, no 12.3-inch passenger screen, yippee! No connected car tech, no auto-dimming IRVM, ouch! No arcade suite, no relax mode, no Me Space, okay, these are some modes in the infotainment system, no inbuilt navigation, and you get 13 ADAS features, not 22. While all variants of the Sierra come with wide 215mm tires, the diesel comes with either 17, 18 or 19-inch wheels depending on the variant of course. The turbo petrol comes with either 18 or 19-inch wheels, and this NA Petrol comes with 17-inch wheels only. The alloy wheel design here isn't great. So it doesn't seem like you're missing out on much in terms of features because this car is still very loaded, quite spacious, and even though quality levels aren't great with ill fittings, panel gaps, exposed wires and ergonomic flaws, this is the best Tata car yet in terms of overall fit finish and cabin feel good factor. By the way, this variant gets a unique feature which is not there in the top end variant. Can you guess which one? It's the head-up display, which is quite big and also very clear. Shows ADAS warnings too. Neat. Also, this being a manual gets an electric parking brake switch. Yippee! However, I have done detailed videos of the Sierra's features earlier. You can simply click on the top right corner of the screen right now to see those videos. And now it's time to give this car the beans, although I doubt it will take it. Alright, it's time to drive this car, very much awaited, I know. There it turns on, smooth, refined. Let's turn off automatic lights so that this becomes brighter. Air conditioning off. Yeah, I hate these touch controls. There need to be more physical buttons in cars. I don't know why Tata is doing so many things based on the touchscreen. Not cool at all. Okay, let's just remove this. Yeah, extendable sun visor. That's kind of cool. People are so horny, just honking. And straight away, there is nothing to do. There is no power mode or there is even no traction control turn off possibility. Now, the thing is, the electric parking brake, like it is engaged right now. Okay, I come into first and it disengages automatically. That's kind of cool. Otherwise, you know, in the, I think I pressed some button here. Let's turn on the camera. Otherwise, in the automatic, the DCA, dual clutch automatic, or any automatic of the Sierra for that matter, what happens is that unless and until you don't wear the seatbelt now, it will not disengage the electric parking brake there because there's no switch there. Here, there's thankfully a switch which makes life so much more easier. Now, in terms of performance, you will absolutely not complain in the city because it gets the job done. It's decent enough in the city because on part throttle, this engine does perform quite nicely. The gearbox is the best in any Tata car I have ever experienced. If you notice, you can see in the heads-up display, it has warnings like if someone is in your line of sight and all. That's very nicely done. The heads-up display is big, it's huge. Well, that's what she said. Steering is actually light, easy to maneuver this car. Turning radius is low, and the clutch is also on the lighter side. This is actually the best gearbox from Tata Motors ever. That's how impressive it is. So yeah, the manual is a joy to drive, and actually this engine doesn't feel as sluggish as I expected it to because of the manual gearbox here. In fact, Tata Motors says that they have retuned the engine. So they are giving that software update to almost everybody. They actually send me a car without the software update and I can obviously feel slight difference.
because this has a better power delivery, doesn't have the flat spots which the earlier model had without the ECU retune. So definitely car feels much better in terms of, oh my god, Land Rover Defender. So car feels much better in terms of overall driving feel, but still the ECU retune hasn't really solved the problem of sluggishness, because this engine is very sluggish when you whack open the throttle like this. It's slow revving, very slow revving. It doesn't move the car at all, and power delivery is, I would have said linear, but there's no power only, so there cannot be any delivery of power only, so there cannot be any linearness only. But overall, the flow of performance is very, 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 okay, there's no performance also here either, but the flow of moving ahead is also very, very, very linear here. There's no kick in the pants feel, obviously, because there's no turbo here, so there's no like turbo spooling up, kick in your pants feel, nothing of that sort. And unlike usually NA engines wherein the more you rev it, the more it rewards you, this is not the situation here. Power delivery is quite sluggish, the performance is very lackluster, and this isn't a car you should venture out on the highway at all. No matter what, never get this car out on the highway because it just doesn't feel fast enough. Making a quick overtake needs a lot of planning because this car is slow and how. And why is it slow? Because firstly, it's a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and you know what, Tata Motors brochure has made a spelling error for cylinder for this engine because they don't care about this engine. In fact, they don't care about this engine to an extent. You will be surprised to know that in the FAQ they have mentioned a question which says what are the powertrains or engines available with the Sierra. They have actually not put the NA engine there. They just written turbo, petrol and diesel. And by the way, this camera is turning off because I'm giving indicators, so the blind view monitor is turning on, and I can obviously shift the blind view monitor here if I want. Anyways, so why is this engine so sluggish? Competitor also offer 1.5 litre MPI engines, right, with similar output. So 106 PS of power and 145 Newton meters of torque. So why is this one so slow? Because this one is running the Atkinson cycle, not the conventional Otto cycle. And what is this Atkinson cycle? You must have heard about it in the Honda City Hybrid and all. Basically, in hybrid cars, you use the Atkinson cycle because it's great for efficiency. It prioritizes efficiency over performance. And in hybrids, you obviously have an electric motor, and electric motors have instant torque. So you don't have low end grunt from the engine, but the electric motor compensates for it. Now the problem here is that Atkinson cycle doesn't give you good power density, doesn't give you good low end performance, and that's the reason why this car is so sluggish lower down. If this was a hybrid, Atkinson cycle would be fine, but this isn't a hybrid, so I don't understand the logic of using Atkinson cycle here. Makes no sense here at all. So the whole idea of Atkinson cycle is that you get lower low speed torque and low speed power, so overall performance struggles because the compression ratio is also low. Basically what happens is that the air fuel mixture is pushed back into the intake manifold, thereby reducing the air fuel mixture which has been compressed. And how does this happen? It is basically done so that efficiency improves, and this is probably more efficient when compared to its competitors. However, remember, it's also 200 kgs heavier than competition. Refinement levels are good lower down, but as you rev it, it becomes very vocal, and there are some vibrations as well, which is surprising for a 4-cylinder engine. I expected it to be better. So the engine's basic compression stroke is actually shorter than the power stroke, so it's asymmetrical there. This means that the engine expands the burning gases more fully before opening the exhaust valve, and by doing that there's more energy which is converted into work instead of being wasted as heat by being pushed through the exhaust. So this delayed intake valve closing is the reason why this engine is more efficient, but it also hinders performance, and that's what you definitely witness here, that the performance is simply not good enough, which is very, very, very disappointing because this car costs more than 20 lakh rupees and just doesn't move. Now there's this sort of a plastic around the screen which is not there in the high variants with triple screen, so this kind of looks weird in aftermarket. Maybe it is to manage the heads-up display. Anyways, into first gear, revving the motor, hazard lights off, revs all the way till 6,250 RPM in neutral, and off we go. Yeah, wheel spin. Red lines at around 6,250 RPM because peak power actually comes in at 6,000 RPM, which is obviously 106 PS. Meanwhile, peak torque comes in lower down at 2,100 RPM, which is 145 Newton meters. The Creta's MPI engine offers similar performance, so not similar, actually more performance, 115 horsepower. So this is down on the Creta in terms of outright output numbers, and the Creta has 144 Newton meters of torque. This has 145 Newton meters of torque, so 1 more Newton meter here. However, remember one thing, that the Creta weighs 200 kgs lighter. This is 1400 kgs of weight. So in terms of efficiency, this will return similar to the Creta because of the added weight. So expect single digit numbers in the city. Out on the highway, you can expect this to stretch to around 14-15 kilometers per liter, depending on how you drive, because you have to drive it sedately and you try to drive it aggressively to make quick overtakes. Obviously, it's going to drink fuel because the more aggressive you drive, the more fuel it's going to drink. It has a 50-liter fuel tank like all other Sierras, and this Atkinson cycle is basically prioritizing efficiency over performance or over power. I am happy with this 6-speed gearbox for a change. Meanwhile, the DCA has a big pause between shifts. It has paddle shifters. You have to take control, obviously, because here also you have to keep changing gears, otherwise you won't move at all. Anyways, it's time to test the 0 to 100 km/h acceleration of this car, which means let's do this. Into first gear, let's run the camera, revving the motor, rev still, eternity, and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin, bogs down. Oh my god, wheel spin on upshift. Come on. The speed breaker will come before, or will we hit 100 kilometers per hour before? That is 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 17.57 seconds, which isn't fast by any means of imagination. Yeah, this is a very, very, very slow car. I'm going to turn on the stop start system, which can get very, very, very irritating here. But the good thing is this car steering is nice. It's light at lower speeds. It weighs up at higher speeds. So yeah, it's good. Body control is good. There's a lot of mechanical grip because the tires are really very, very wide. The suspension is amazing. Higher variants obviously get FDD, which is frequency dependent damping. Fantastic suspension, and this obviously having 17-inch wheels has 65 profile tires, 18-inch wheels have 60 profile tires, and 19-inch wheels have 55 profile tires, which means the sidewall here is bigger, making the ride quality even better here. So the ride is actually quite impressive. The only problem is the suspension is making some weird sounds, random weird sounds. I don't know, it's like me, something like that. It's coming on bad roads. So yeah, they need to iron out all these quality issues with the car, because at this price you obviously expect things to be a lot better. You don't expect bad quality. Okay, I have actually changed this thing. I've put the blind view camera right here, and it's the time to launch it again. Let's see what it does. Come on. Into first gear, hazard lights off, revving the motor, and off we go. Lot of wheel spin. Oh my god, wheel spin on upshift as well. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There's just no grunt anywhere here. Gearbox can feel a bit sluggish. Did we come into 6th? Yes, we came into 6th. I mean, gearbox is good, but yeah, it could be better. Anyways, I don't think we'll be able to hit 100 kilometers per hour in this short distance. That's a bit of a problem. So engine feels light here. Obviously, it's lighter than when compared to a diesel, but a diesel is the best option in the Sierra lineup because firstly, it's tried and tested, which the turbo petrol engine is not. Turbo petrol engine has good performance, but it is not very efficient. The diesel will give you efficiency. It's proven, and hopefully, it will not have any quality issues because the Nexon has had it since donkey's years. I think this car will hit a top speed around 165, 170 kilometers per hour, but it's going to take eternity to reach there. There's an airport on the right. If I use the runway, I'll still not be able to reach the top speed because the performance overall is very, 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 very freaking sluggish. However, Tata Motors is like, you know what? The thing with this car is that people who are buying this particular engine don't really care about performance. They only want features. And that's the reason why they are like, you know, that it's okay. The lackluster performance is okay because to get the turbo petrol, the delta is very high. And the reason for the high delta, the price difference, is because this is available in manual and automatic. The turbo petrol is only available with automatic. The logic just doesn't make sense. Why would you not offer a manual in? But Tata's like, you know, customers who opt for that price of a car are like, you know, we'd rather have automatic gear shifts, system enabled stop start. I have to say okay or what. Anyways, let's launch the car here to see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which means into first gear. Come on, revving the motor, and off we go. Bog down. Oh, it bogs down because you can't turn off traction control, which is the most weird thing ever. Come on. Yeah, there is no mid-range, there is no low end, there is no top end, there is nothing in this motor that will excite you at all. Come on, that's very slow, 0 to 60 kilometers per hour. And 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes, come on bro, what are you doing? 3 business days, 19.66 seconds, even slower still, which is quite baffling. Let's do one thing, let's do the brake test. Hazard lights on, and I step on the brakes. Too much ABS sound, and a nosedive as well. However, overall braking performance is good. See, it bogs down. I have to ride it. I have to really ride it. So let's try this again. This time I'm just going to do it a bit smartly by revving it and not dumping the clutch immediately. Yeah, the power delivery is a bit wavy. It feels a little uneasy at times. Now into third. Come on. See, vibrations. Can you feel that? 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 18.31 seconds. I think that 17.5 seconds was the best time I could have ever achieved. That's a bit of a problem. Now I come into 6th gear. Okay, notice one thing. In 6th gear, I'm keeping a speed of around 100 kilometers per hour. And the RPM needle is at 2500 RPM. And the car is telling me to downshift. Weirdly, the car is telling me to downshift. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, this engine is just not good enough. I think it's only Toyota and Honda which make great NA petrol engines. Now obviously Toyota has become crazy about hybrid, but Honda makes great VTEC engines, which makes me appreciate them more, because here I can realize immediately the performance is quite dull for something which has the capability of being driven fast around a corner or being driven enthusiastically. Thankfully, we have the turbo petrol engine. So those who are buying this car are only doing it for the pricing, which makes me believe that why would they even opt for the high variant? Because obviously, if you're buying this car, you want to save on money, so get a lower variant. And Tata's been smart by not offering automatic in the higher variant, so that people go for the turbo petrol engine and they complain less, obviously. Anyways, let's try and launch this again. Revving the motor and off we go. Oh, in neutral I'm revving. I'm so stupid. It bogs down. Yeah, what's this? Just simply bogs down. Traction control ruining the fun. Can't launch it. Yeah, it wheel spins on upshift, which is kind of weird. Yeah, it came into 5th. Gearbox is good, but yeah, that 2nd to 5th is a problem here. Anyways, again, let's try this. Oh my goodness. I think this was a better launch. Yeah, it just like shakes everywhere on upshift, which is kind of weird. This is slow. 0 to 100 has to be sub 7 seconds if you are going to do a good timing. Imagine you go for a drag race with this car, you would be dragged to embarrassment because the car just doesn't move and doesn't perform consistently either. Oh God. And in today's episode, we are racing a Tata truck. I don't know why car brands can't make, or especially Indian car brands cannot figure out that 3rd gear has to slot in 3rd, not in 5th. And this happens a lot. Very frustrating. Anyways, 0 to 16, 7.95 seconds. What is this timing? Should be better this time. Still bad. Still bad. Not getting the hang of it. Again, I shall try. No. This is better. Stupid gearbox getting into 5th gear all the time. Yeah, this, I don't know why cannot they have defined gates between 3rd and 5th. So many times it just slots into 5th. I've launched many cars, but trust me, this has been the most difficult thing to do today. Just doesn't get into 3rd properly, not able to launch it properly. So I think the DCA will definitely fare better in that regard. However, with the DCA, you know, it is much slower. Anyways, let's do the wiper test. So the front wipers work well. The problem with the rear wipers is that the spray is not reaching the rear wiper only. The wiper is working alone without any spray. That's kind of funny. Horn is surprisingly very good here. That was a delayed wiper swipe, by the way. So while I get to a good road to figure out how fast I can accelerate this car, let's talk a bit about the warranty on this car. 3 years, 1 lakh kilometer warranty, which is good. It's the Toyota warranty. However, for Tata, it should be 10 years, 1 million kilometer warranty. But the point is, no matter what good warranty they give, the service centers are just not trained enough to handle situations. So that's one bit of a problem. Consistency is not there in terms of quality, fit, finish and all those things. That's another bit of a problem. Overall, this is definitely by far the best Tata car yet. But they really need to work on improving after sales experience, because people are really upset after buying the car, and then after spending so much money, the top end goes to a whopping 25.36 lakhs, which is for the diesel, and the top end petrol, which is the turbo petrol, goes to 24.58 lakhs. So you actually end up paying rupees 1.7 lakhs for the dual clutch automatic compared to the manual, but it's obviously not available in high variants. That's one thing. Second thing is that you pay rupees 2.27 lakhs more for the turbo when compared to the NA manual. So that is money well spent, because automatic also, turbo petrol engine also, you get the best of both worlds. Yeah, that obviously makes a lot of sense. Now stop start system has turned off the car. I step on the clutch, it turns on obviously, but this is not very nicely done, the stop start system. Anyways, into first gear, revving the motor. This is like my last attempt today because I'm so frustrated. Box down, come on. Oh, notice how it shakes all over the place. And I give an indicator. Why does the blind view monitor turn off there? I don't understand only. And that's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. This is even slower, bro. Yeah. So you can't consistently launch this car because the car simply refuses to launch nicely. That's a huge problem. But we'll try again. I said last time, but yeah, I'm still being optimistic here. I think it's better. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, sorry, 60 in 7.35. It's slower. It has to be under 7 seconds to really go somewhere. So again, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in, it takes a lot of time, trust me. 17.48 seconds, not bad. I think with a perfect launch you can do probably 17 seconds, but that is not going to be easy at all. So as I see it, this engine is best avoided. Do not buy this car with this engine. It doesn't do justice to the fantastic chassis this car has. And obviously 5-star rating from Bharat NCAP, should do 5-star rating from Global NCAP as well. Built solidly, you feel you're in a solid car. Interior is the nicest I've seen in any Tata car. So a lot of good things also about this car. It's just that, you know, this engine is out of place in this car. Obviously, to get that lower attractive pricing, they had to put this engine here. And around the corners also, you'll actually enjoy driving this car in spite of its weight, in spite of its height. It's actually quite fun, and I have to really give it to them for the heads-up display. It's so big and it's so nice. I mean, you can see so much data here, which is absolutely fantastic. And obviously it has this ADAS warning and all those things as well, especially if someone is walking. Now you can see that person there. I mean, you can't, I mean, the warning that someone is there around there, that also it shows. It's just that, you know, a few things they really need to work on, and they need to give a better engine. Probably they designed this engine with hybrid in mind, because otherwise it makes no sense. Why would you give us an Atkinson cycle? Yeah, it's not good for performance and efficiency. If someone wants, they can obviously get the diesel. Thankfully the diesel engine is still there, which needs more power as well. So yeah, a few of these things need to be worked upon, which I believe will happen with the facelifted version of this car, which is due in around 3 years time. But Tata always gives updates every year. And something which I don't understand, this car has a massive panoramic sunroof, but it doesn't get an auto dimming mirror, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Clearly, this engine is very lackluster and simply doesn't have the performance. However, if you are on a budget, or if you drive in congested city confines, or if you're chauffeur driven, then you might be able to accept this powertrain because it's priced very aggressively. The problem here is that the turbo petrol engine is only available with automatic transmission, which means the price delta between the NA manual and the turbo petrol, which is an automatic, is quite a lot. So if you want to save money and don't really care about performance, you might just accept this engine, but don't expect to reach any place in a hurry. The diesel-powered Sierra, in spite of its mediocre performance, is still the engine to get because it's efficient and tried and tested too. And on that discovery, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.